And we go.
All right. Welcome back, fellow TFFL owners, to your weekly TFFL webcast. It is Wednesday, October 20th, 2021. Looking back at week 6 TFFL action, looking ahead to week 7. Quickly, some headlines to start us off. The Steel City Mongols are defending champions, still unfortunately without a win, now 0-6 on the season. Kind of a hard luck. What do I have? 80-76 was the score in that game. Hard luck loss. Josh Allen coming up short, just short at the end. We talked a little bit about that on email. Injuries, not a lot of big ones. I don't know if we talked about Christian McCaffrey last time, getting put on IR now and out for a few weeks. Kareem Hunt out for a few weeks for the Senators. Is it Kadarius Toney, who had just emerged, re-injured, I think the ankle. He's going to be out for a little bit. Rich, kind of under the radar, Michael Thomas was due to come off of IR, and it looks like he's going to be, a few weeks longer than expected. So that, nobody out for the year, I think, in the last week, which is good news, but a lot of folks with several weeks on the shelf coming up here. Some trades happening in the TFFL. Melvin Gordon already, but the Aliens now adding Jarvis Landry to the list of players they've shipped out. Robert Woods getting traded away from the Mongols. One last headline, the Boba Fats, what a stupid decision. Putting Justin Herbert in the lineup over Matt Stafford cost him the game. No, never mind. Sorry. All right, panel intros. Our commissioner, Rich.
Hey, how's it going?
Lizards King and Ruler, fresh off attending another great NFL game.
Yeah, that was a good one. Dallas Patriots was a rock star game. We're drinking Bullet Bourbon tonight, going sort of with the staple. As I'm recovering from a lot of fun events, we're going to go with
the Red Sox game.
Last night was at the Red Sox game. It's been a lot of very fortunate, good sporting events that I've gotten to go to, big time ones over the past 3 weeks. So really exciting. I think that's going to come to a close now. We're just going to hunker down and enjoy the rest on TV.
You've also been participating in the Cannabis Cup.
It's true. Me being an official judge, have completed my duties as judge. They were due on October 17th, so I had to make the push. I had 14 different strains that we were being evaluated, and if I was to give you, it was a very enjoyable experience. I will tell you that. I did get to share in some of the experience with some close friends that are nearby, and I saved a bunch so that I could share more with others. And if I have the good fortune of seeing any of you, I'll make sure to save maybe some of the best ones. Which, if I'm going to give you my top 3 per se from the 14 I looked at, one is called Dog Walker's Brownie Scout Big Dog. That was one of the top 3.
So wait, hold on. Dog Walker.
Roberto's taking notes.
It's called Dog Walkers. Dog Walkers are one word, and then it was Brownie Scout Big Dog.
Brownie Scout Big Dog.
Brownies, and really good all around. Right. I actually did enjoy that one while walking my dog.
Nice.
Which I felt like I had to do, and it made for an extended playtime with the dog. That's for sure. The dog benefited from that one because there was extra playtime involved. It was smooth, no distinct flavor, nice and light and easy. Felt relaxed, relieved. Some slight, stomach challenges I was having that night, and muscle pains maybe from working out or getting beat up. I don't know.
Working out, yeah.
Running and lifting.
Running and lifting.
Yeah.
And then number 2 was definitely Nova Farms Southie Sundays Infused Blunt.
Okay.
That's the name of it. Southie Sundays, and Sundays is DAZE. infused blunt.
Mhm.
Right. I waited for a Sunday to have that since it was called Sunday, right?
Mhm.
And this one had sort of a. Are you familiar with distillate and keef?
Mhm. Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
it was
the
rolled
crispy
in
stuff.
distillate and keef, and it was pretty spectacular. Again, easy, enjoyable, easy pull. It really was a great sort of hang out for hours, enjoy with your friends sort of bit. Sativa had a nice. It was good. It was good. And then the number one was Yamna, Ymna, and it's Tropicana Cookies Canagar.
Okay.
Tropicana Cookies Canagar, Cannagar. And really, really, really great. From the moment you inspect this thing, you could tell it's different. Finely ground, just everything from the wrap and the way it's done, you could tell the craft put into it was perfection, right? Like perfection. And it was light from the first pull, delightful, smooth, light balanced flavor. The airflow through it had sort of the special thing that went through the middle that allowed the airflow to burn and lend itself to a more enjoyable burn and experience overall. And the effects kicked in really nice, maintained itself for hours and really enjoyable. So you're completely in control. Munchies weren't too bad, and you can chill for hours while you look forward to the next experience. That was my gig, right? There's if you wish, offline, I'm happy to run through the 11 others that were there. And
Nice.
now I'm gonna take some time off, maybe a little bit lighter.
You've had a lot of big events.
Some heavy evenings.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Berto, High Command from Jack's Giant Killers. Welcome.
Dick, how are you? I have nothing as interesting as all of these sporting events in the Cannabis Cup that Richie's partaken in here. So,
well, and real quick, Rich, if you don't mind releasing some medical records, can you rattle off the list of vaccines you've had in the last few months again?
Seriously, I've had both the hepatitis B. I've gotten pneumonia. I've gotten my first of shingles. The hepatitis B is only the first two, meaning there's 2 shots to both that and the shingles. I've gotten one of each of those, and I've gotten the flu vaccine. There you go. Not to mention months ago, I got my COVID vaccine, right? But I had the 1-shot J&J, and now it sounds like I'll be on deck to get the half Moderna whenever that's available.
Mix and match.
I'm in.
All right. Hank, our IT director, czar, and CEO of the K-Wheels. Welcome.
Good evening, all. Happy to be here. I'm a straight Pfizer man now. I've had 3 Pfizer shots now. So fully boosted and vaccinated and flu shotted. Did at the same time. Low effects. Had an afternoon of sleepiness, a little bit tired, but that's it.
Yeah, it hit me pretty hard, but not as bad as the second shot.
So. No, not even close. Second shot whacked me. Yeah.
I
don't have anything exciting like Berkman does either in terms of going to fun sporting events or whatnot. So glad you're carrying the torch for us, Rich.
Do my best.
Well done.
All right. One more quick note here to close up the intro segment. A long intro today. Kevin Kramer, President pro tempore of the Senators, running his first marathon.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice
stuff.
work, Kramer. I believe, according to sources close to the senator, this is a one and done.
Mm-hmm.
He's moving on to bigger challenges, letting a younger generation of marathoners now get a chance to shine. Nothing left to prove. Nice job, Kramer.
Nice job.
Yeah.
If anyone has not seen the video of Matt Smith running alongside with the gong, offering gong hits to all the runners on the it's Smithers funny.
Only Smithers.
Nice.
God, I'm sure he was an inspiration to many.
Oh, he was, and he spread a lot of Smithers love and joy, and there is something, eminently funny about the gong. It's good.
It's worked for decades.
It has.
All right. Okay, we're going to do TFFL trivia now. Weekly shout out again to Chief for not only coming up with all these questions, but packaging them so neatly mailing them off to us. So at the top of the stack here, I'm just going to pick the first one that comes to us. It's question and answer number 3. Set aside the answer envelope, and there we go. Q3.
All right. Q3.
A lot of text always, but they haven't been. I think I mangled the first one, but I've been reading them better.
All right. Get into it.
Getting used to Chiefs material. All right. Much ado has been made regarding the Amsterdam Packers and Hormel Ham's frequent draft defense and kicker swapping. Certainly, a 2021 draft trade for a kicker didn't help that perception. This is a prescient question, considering our agenda later tonight. Prior to that trade, and I think we're talking about the Dustin Hopkins trade, and going back to the 2012 season, so 9 seasons now, how many inter-Giovenco trades have there been?
Wow. So over 9 years, how many have there been?
Man, it feels like that should be an over/under question.
Yeah, it does.
Well, and I'll tell you, I'll hold on. Chief cites as his source of this answer to come the official TFFL trade tracker within the essential document. If you get the exact answer here, the exact number of inter-Giovenco trades over the last 9 years, you'll get 3 points. If you're within 1, you'll get 2 points. And if you're within 2, even, you can still score a point tonight.
Over how many last years?
Over 9 years. So just kind of figure out how many trades every year on average do these guys make together, and multiply that times 9. There you go.
Oh, multiply that times 9. Got it.
Well, yeah, for over 9 years. Or try to remember all the trades they've made. And
I'm not going to do that. I'm just thinking of whether this is some sort of trick in the sense of maybe there aren't as many as we think there are.
It's a great question, actually.
It is a good question.
And again, well timed. We'll be talking a little more about Dustin Hopkins. All right, Hank, TFFL standings. Trend continuing.
Here we go. I will hot off the presses. I will. I'm not going to do anything. Here we go. Through week 6, we talked about it a little bit. Ampac, K-Wheels, Giant Killer sitting at top of standings at 5-1. Lizards, sorry, got the first loss of the year, 4-1-1. And then our leaders in the South, which would be 5th place in the North, but they are the leaders in the South. The Sponge Fishermen at 3-2-1, followed by the 3-3 Hams. Everybody else under the 500 mark. Senators and Fats at 2-3-1. Aliens and Beavers at 2-4. Devils and Mongols in need of wins now. So that's where the records break out, because we're starting to spread out here a little bit, as we can see. We're going to start probably changing the way we're looking at the standings a little bit as we get through week 7 and start looking at the divisions and positioning and whatnot.
Hold that back up, if you would. Two comments to make. And let's see the bottom 3 teams, all from the same division.
Yep.
I should point out we were going to hopefully have Terry on as a guest tonight to talk about the state of the Steel City Mongols, perhaps to talk about that division at large. He can't join us tonight, but we'll hopefully have him on next week. The other thing I would point out there is the Lizards just suffered their first loss. Here we are, through 6 weeks, 1 loss, and they are in 4th place. That's how good the NOCO East has been this year. We'll talk more about that.
You just looked at those things. You saw 1 division's at the top and 1 division's at the bottom, and the other 2 divisions are mixed up in between.
Yep. Yep. All right, Rich. Rich, anything else to report from your commissioner's office?
Nope.
Great. All right. Keep it up. Keep it up. Smooth free agent process this week.
Yeah, very smooth. I mean, the funny part was, we announced Phil's on Thursday, and it gave everyone the opportunity to undercut him and get, that former Philadelphia Eagle Carson Wentz, which totally, space cadetted me, but
Mhm.
maybe that was after the Southeast Sundays or something. I don't know. Whatever the
Well,
case,
cannabis cup work.
actually, it couldn't have been that because it was Thursday. But nonetheless, nobody jumped into.
Nobody wanted him anyway.
You know, Chief had said, "Oh, there's at least 2 owners interested in him," and etc. There were none.
Never none.
Interested.
Yep.
So you got him. Other than
Yep.
that, very smooth process.
Good.
All good. All good. Get him in for Thursday. What's tomorrow night's game?
Cleveland.
Denver and Cleveland.
Oh, that's awful. Nobody wants anybody on those teams.
Uh,
You might get something. All right. Maybe there's
There
something.
might be.
There might be something.
Burrow's looking at Tim Patrick, thinking he might want him.
Tim
Tim
Patrick
Patrick is on the Amsterdam Packers.
Oh, he's already in the Packers.
I believe there's a running back at the top of
Oh yeah, he was the big guy last year, and where is he today? What, Ernest somebody or
No,
something?
Ernest.
Johnson. Yeah.
We'll see. I maybe should have made a move for Carson Wentz if I had known Baker Mayfield would not have a shoulder.
Mhm.
So Baker Mayfield's not playing tomorrow night. I believe Teddy Bridgewater is going to play, but he's banged up as well. Quarterback market. Well, actually, though, everything is kind of shaky right now. Week 7 in particular, but even week 8, lots and lots of bye weeks coming up.
Mhm.
Lots of shorter term injuries, as I rattled off earlier. We saw this coming. Everybody's writing about it out there. This is a tough week to field a strong lineup, and week 8's not going to be a heck of a lot better. All right, so we'll save talking about the Mongols for the sake of programming. Terry, I'm sorry, but hopefully the Mongols can still be winless coming in next week. We can keep the agenda the same. Nonetheless, we'll have you on here whether you're 1-6 or 0-7. Let me rattle off a few quick topics that we don't need to belabor, but they're worth a quick conversation. Actually, one of our viewers wrote in and asked us to address, and it already came up in the trivia question, address the Hams kicker situation once again, but not do it in 20 minutes this time. So Dustin Hopkins got released today, if you weren't paying attention. So the Hams, who their goal apparently in the draft was to spend as few resources as possible on a kicker, to laugh at everybody along the way as they drafted their kickers.
Obnoxiously laugh at everyone to an annoying level, which is not usually like Michael.
Wait until the 13th round and just grab whoever's left. And, I don't even remember the guy's name, the New England kicker who promptly was put on injured reserve, forcing Michael to not just have spent that 13th round pick, but now to go spend an 8th round pick and a free agent pick to acquire Dustin Hopkins. And now he's going to need to go spend something else to get a replacement for Dustin Hopkins.
Yep.
I don't know if there's much more to say, but it was worth noting. All right.
Yeah.
So noted.
Yeah.
Well,
Karma's a bitch, huh?
Yeah. I look forward to Michael laughing next year as people are drafting kickers and, making sure they've got somebody good in that slot. So whatever.
I'd like to point out that Bass is the leading scorer in the NFL.
I don't doubt it.
Tyler Bass. Almost pulled it off.
There you go.
Almost.
Rich, I don't mean to poke you too much because you obviously are having a great season, but I was looking at your draft. You had a terrible draft.
Really?
Tyler Bass might have been your best pick.
Wow.
Well, I mean, you're also being very short-sighted in thinking that Sermon's not going to come back and be a really good player in the future. I mean, he's in a situation right now that's a situation, but he's quite talented, and I have a feeling he'll be used plenty as the season goes on and maybe even into next year. So, I think you're being a little short-sighted and early on your analysis there. But I also think Deontay Johnson was a very good draft pick, and I happen to think that Robbie Anderson was too. I wish I took Mike Williams instead of Anderson in hindsight, But they were both about the same spot at the time, and I felt good about him.
I think Mike Williams is that guy that a lot of us are kicking ourselves for not taking.
Yeah. I mean, look, could I, woulda, coulda taken Chase? It just didn't make sense for me. And I, looking back, I kind of wish I took Chase, but I didn't. So I'm not. But I don't think I had a bad draft at all. I think I filled in depth on my team, and I got what I thought was going to be the starter. And if you tell me before the draft that anyone had that sort of outlook on Sermon, then you'd be lying.
And I'm sorry, that was a little gratuitous. I'm not really prepared to defend that comment.
Well, how's hey Berkman, have you looked at the update of how's our bet on Robert Tonyan touchdown?
That was the name that sparked it. Was Robert Tonyan?
Yeah, that there's still time, but it's not looking good for me. It's not looking good.
I think we're at 1, and the over under is 9.5. Yeah. Okay. Let's see him. Hey, he has a 3 touchdown week, and you're right back in it.
I made a lofty bet, and maybe under certain conditions, and it is what it is. I'll honor my bet, and he put up something like more than that last year, so you never know.
Hey, you never know. You never know.
What Deontay Johnson in the second round, that was a good pick.
It was.
It
was.
Yeah, that was a good pick.
I know, but I didn't have a good draft according to Stick.
I'm
Robert Tonyan 4 picks later in the second round.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to bring up the Lizards draft.
I could have been Gronkowski probably, right? But I'm actually glad it's not him to a degree.
No, listen, I'm not going to harp on the Lizards draft. I think they made a lot of the I understand the picks they were making. Yeah, in hindsight, should you have taken Jamar Chase? Absolutely, no doubt. But
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Berto. Of course, because Berto horseshoe up his ass, high command Berto.
Yeah, well, at his pick, he had no choice but to take him, right? So
he's Joe Burrow. It's the perfect compliment. I mean,
oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
All right. Hey, just a quick NFL discussion, an NFL player discussion. I saw a comment this week and something I was reading that very casually referred to Derrick Henry as a lock Hall of Famer. I paused for a second, and I think I might agree.
Really? Lock?
Well, I think he's locked based on the records he's broken already, and Terrell Davis getting in under his sort of situation. Yeah, I mean, the difference is Terrell Davis has won Super Bowls, right?
So, that's what made me pause. Right.
He's absolutely a lock. I think he's a lock.
He basically carried the Titans to the AFC Championship game last year. I mean, and
playoff performance, and assuming he finishes this year.
Wait a minute, he wasn't in the AFC Championship
or whatever the playoffs when he was in that. Whatever the first round of playoffs when they got there, or 2 years ago, whatever it was.
Yeah, I think if he finishes this year, he's in. Sure.
Especially if he breaks 2,000 yards again.
Back-to-back
He's on pace for crazy numbers. Like he'll get 2,000 yards in like week 13 or something like that. It's crazy.
He's one of the best big backs we have ever seen. Yeah,
and he's found his stride, which is. Please stay healthy, Derek. Come on.
The other story coming out today that I find fascinating, although I hate talking about it, and we've talked about it before, but Deshaun Watson, the rumors today from Houston beat reporters is that there are serious discussions going on between the Texans and the Dolphins. I've seen that report refuted since then, but the NFL trade deadline is coming up. This story has not gone away. It seems like the Dolphins may really be trying to get Watson. And it fascinates me because I just don't get it. Why an NFL team would want, no matter what the price tag is.
I think that people leaking this story to the press is somebody in the Houston Texans organization.
Or the Deshaun Watson's camp that's trying to generate interest.
I mean, you can't give up the farm for this guy when you don't even know,
You can give up anything for this guy.
Right.
He's a
Do
PR
you want this guy
disaster.
as the face of your franchise?
No. You can't. He's toxic. You cannot have him in your locker room right now. And any franchise who gives a bag of pucks for this guy is stupid. So he's a good football player. He is. But that's not what this is about.
Yeah.
I don't know about a bag of pucks versus a bag of maybe deflated footballs.
Whatever. The bag of deflated football, bag of shit. Okay. He's not, I wouldn't trade for him right now. You don't want him in your organization.
Lightning round question. Let's assume there's even a 25% chance he actually gets traded to the Dolphins.
Mm.
Does somebody in the TFFL this week put in a free agent claim on him?
Ralph Giovenko. Without a doubt.
Thornburg. Why
I
not?
would think it would be
Yeah.
Thornburg if
Yes.
it was going to be anybody.
Yes.
Ralph needs a quarterback, and Ralph has no qualms about having questionable character on his team.
I don't even think it's the questionable character. I think it's the risk that he could get suspended for another year after all his legal issues come out. I mean, why do you want to deal with that? I mean, he might fine trade him. He still might not be able to play for a year, even after he gets, traded and reinstated or whatever, right? Or
He's not
suspended right now.
He's not suspended. He's not on the commissioner's list, exempt
But
list.
he will be. He will be.
He could get traded to the Dolphins and theoretically play immediately. So that could happen. Or traded somewhere else. Yeah. So will he get picked up if he gets traded? Absolutely.
I mean, I suppose the Dolphins are sitting there thinking, they came into the season thinking they had, rebuilt that team and had a good foundation and were, just Tua as their quarterback, away, if he could just mature and explode in year two, like other young quarterbacks have done recently, they've got a playoff team and a contending team. That hasn't happened. Bring in Deshaun Watson and you save your season. Maybe that's what but even then, how do you make this guy the face of your franchise and presumably meet some exorbitant asking price that Houston has?
He's not playing. Let's talk about that when he actually shows up. This is a bunch of crap.
Lightning round over.
All right. There you go. We'll see if somebody in the TFFL signs him this week. So last big topic on my agenda, and it's one where we can spend a little bit of time talking about. I know Hank doesn't want us talking about the K-Wheels. I know some viewers out there may say, stop talking about the guys on the webcast. But I think there's no ignoring your division. I'm not just talking about the K-Wheels. I'm talking about the AMPAC, the Killers, and the K-Wheels, all 5-1. The K-Wheels are tops in the league in scoring. The AMPAC, I think, are third in scoring. But the point I started, there's a lot of angles to this. Let's talk about the implications of not winning this division or of winning it. We've got 3 teams right now that all look headed for the playoffs. One of them is going to win this division, might presumably also win the conference. The other 2 are going to be the number 5 and 6 seeds, winning $0 to start versus potentially $500 for the conference title, not getting a bye in the playoffs. And for what it's worth, Hank, as of this moment, if the playoffs started today, the K-Wheels would be the number 1 seed.
By 1 point.
By 1 point over the AMPAC, who would then drop all the way to the number 5 seed. Giant Killers would be the 6th seed. So a lot at stake here, guys.
Yeah.
By the way, you said 1 point? What do you mean?
Well, so we all end up with head-to-head division records. So it's a 3-way. We're all tied, right? So if you look at it that way, we're all 1-1, and we've all mixed in terms of who we've beaten and lost to. So then you go to head-to-head points. And Stick and I did a quick math exercise earlier, and it comes out like I scored 160 points against those 2, and Ralph scored 159 points against us 2, and then Berta was like 137.
Oh, it's just not head-to-head points?
Head-to-head between the 3 of us.
Oh, I see.
Head-to-head record.
It's a 3-way tie.
Head-to-head
Right.
point.
Got it.
Yeah, so
I was going to say, because you have now 537 points.
No,
Oh,
just between those 2 opponents is how I
get it. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I mean, I look at the Killers have 417 to your 537. So you're 100 and some odd ahead
Overall.
of them. Ralph has
Yeah.
462 points right now
Right.
total. I have more points than both Ralph and the Killers.
You're second, I think, are you?
But this
Doesn't matter.
No, I'm not record wise. I mean, I'm just
No, but I mean
looking, you
points-wise.
saw, I don't know if you saw, I put out a supplemental
Yeah. Thank you.
email with the FAPP order.
Thank you.
You know,
Yes, I didn't do
your
that.
fabulous report. No worries. You don't
Yeah.
have to. I'm just happy you did the report. And
Yes.
so I'm happy to do the supplemental follow-up. But yeah, you guys all are pretty close, you know, from that perspective. And honestly, there's nobody else except that's close other than the Sponge and the Sens are the next closest points wise.
Mm-hmm. So I've got a couple questions about this division. Let me see if I can utter them and make sense. I know if I ask you guys about, you know, how important is it to win the division title, I know the right answer you're going to give me is the goal is to win the championship. It's not to win the division title. To win the championship, as I just kind of laid out, it's going to be a lot easier if you first win the division title and get that bye. Is there anything you can think to do to somehow win your division? Do you look at trying to offset, you know, it wouldn't be Russell Wilson. It would be, you know, offset Joe Burrow, offset Tom Brady. Are there things you do to, you know, try to win the division?
Mm-hmm. I think with, at least from my perspective, I've already kind of looked at that. I mean, you know, DK Metcalf against Russell Wilson has always been a hedge. I think does Ralph have Antonio Brown against Brady? No.
I think the Fats have him, right?
That's why it was a problem for me. I just remember having that being an issue. But you know, I mean, I think a lot of that's hard because like to really have, like, if you wanted to prevent against Brady, you got to go get Antonio Brown or Mike Evans or Chris Godwin, and they're all, you know, keepers on everybody's team. Brown might be available. You know, that's a tough one to try and match up, you know, defending that way. I think it's right. It's still about optimizing your lineup and what can you do to put a better squad of players on the field each week.
Yeah, that's the one thing about fantasy football. You can't do much to impact blocking somebody else's team other than, you know, maybe like to Phil's point, you get that receiver who, you know, that's it, right? There's nothing else you can do. Now, to your point about how much are you willing to give up, right? That's the other part of your question, right? So how much do I want to give up to potentially win the division versus being happy to be in the playoffs?
No, knowing that there's may not be a lot of competition for that last playoff spot, and you maybe don't have to spend a lot just to be able to make the playoffs.
Right. And I think what we were talking on the pre-show is you want to make the moves. You want to do whatever you can to win the Pac Bowl and make the best moves you can make. So that's what you want to do. Your thought is, you know, how do I win the Pac Bowl with who I'm going to – the thought making a trade is who am I going to get to make the playoffs? And then, you know, who is going to be somebody who is potentially going to put me over the top? So –
and depth, I think too. You know, I mean, like, at least from my perspective, like I've spent 3 years plus trying to build a roster that is rock solid, and I think I have that. I don't have a hole where I'm feeling like I got to go get this, but I want depth. I want when Saquon Barkley twists his ankle and now is out for 3, maybe 4 weeks. It's like I don't want to, you know, lose that momentum. And then when we get to the end, as we get to like week 16. It will be a little different, you know, and you want to have guys who are truly active and playing well then as well. So maybe there's trades as we get closer and see kind of who some of those later season guys are that are coming on. But, you know, like I said, I feel like I've spent a lot of time getting to this point so that making a bunch of moves now, I'm not sure that's a big part of my plan.
So the other thing too, like I made the Robert Woods trade because I mean, I would have loved to have got Josh Allen. I made an offer for him. I would have loved to have gotten Henderson, but those are guys that, you know, maybe they can be had from the Mongols or maybe they can't. But Robert Woods is a good player. And he's in a good offense and it's depth for a couple rough bye weeks that I have coming up. Is he the answer? Is he the guy that's going to put me over the top? No, but he's a depth guy, as Phil just mentioned, for, you a couple rough weeks that I have coming up with buys.
Mhm.
So,
And you need those, and I think that's maybe where the trades or the moves or whatnot, especially at this point of the season, are going to be, is to plug those kind of holes. And
but
Yeah.
but you look at everything right now, and not many. The Mongols have said that they're trading, but it was, if they're not trading Henderson and they're not trading Allen
or
and
Deebo Samuel, or
or
yeah.
Debo on the aliens.
Sorry, that's yours.
Yeah,
So
it's irrelevant.
maybe the aliens are the next team, but there's not a lot more on the Mongols that people want or that they're willing to trade.
Mhm.
So then it's the next team. Who is going to be the next team that's going to fold up?
What about a guy like Allen Robinson on the Mongols? Obviously not scoring a ton right now, but
The problem I have is I would offer like a at best like a third, or maybe maybe not even.
I was going to say you'd offer a third for him?
the Mongols would jump at a third for Allen
Yeah, they
Robinson.
of course.
I was going to say that's
that is, yeah, you're right.
that's
That's not
money
even
right
close.
there.
He's
I
not gonna
would say
start- he's not
I
gonna
wouldn't
play.
offer more than a sixth for
Yeah.
Robinson.
But here's the thing: is trades already get made. Like, I'm not going to trade for another receiver.
Right.
So I'm out of the market.
I mean, do I want to play Robinson more than Robbie Anderson? That's like no,
Same thing.
It's like the same difference. Like,
Yeah.
no.
Same thing.
So until the next domino falls here, and I don't know if maybe I guess the aliens are kind of in that spot now too. If you get the right offer, you've made a couple moves already. So
Yeah, I'm selling assets if I get the right offer, and you guys know I'm fielding offers for Mark Andrews, Rashad Penny.
Yeah, but it's 4 players, right? Rashad Penny, Mark Andrews, Debo, and Amari Cooper.
I really don't want to trade Debo. I think Tyler Lockett, I'm hoping has some value when Russell Wilson. He should have value when Russell Wilson comes back. And if I'm a TFFL team, Latavius Murray, I'm sorry, scores touchdowns on the best NFL rushing offense.
Yep.
He's got some value at some point for somebody.
Mhm.
And it doesn't.
That's the best one you said. Yeah, like that's the kind of guy that I would throw something at potentially as we get closer to it, to have somebody in case there's an emergency and they can pull that ripcord.
In case of emergency.
In case of emergency, break glass. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I want to make this a positive segment. We don't need to talk about the aliens anymore.
Talk about Berkman's.
Whose exciting phone is that?
That's my exciting phone. Thank you.
Is everything okay?
Everything's great.
Good. So wanted to talk about, you guys were just talking about the depth that you need. And this is kind of a segment that will have some relevance for the aliens, for the Steel City Mongols, as well, as we talk about how to rebuild franchises. It's easy to look around and go, oh, Ralph rebuilt his franchise on the strength of Zeke Elliott and Leonard Fournette and Melvin Gordon and Dalvin Cook. Just top pick after top pick. Ralph had a bad stretch there for like 4 years, but it paid off ultimately. Hank, Saquon Barkley, and Derrick Henry, obviously at the top of the draft. Mm-hmm. But the compliment I want to pay to you is set those guys aside as much as you can for the second, and look at your receiving core. Mm-hmm. And you deserve a lot of credit. None of these guys went in the first round. DK Metcalf, second round pick a couple of years ago. You took him one spot ahead of where I would have taken him. I got Jalen Samuels instead. Justin Jefferson, maybe even kind of a reach in the second round last year. He did not necessarily have a breakout training camp or anything, but kind of a homer pick. And what a great player he's been. Marquise Brown, a 5th rounder this year. Don't forget Cortland Sutton, 3rd rounder a couple of years ago. Those are 4 guys who, Marquise Brown is the number 8 wide receiver right now. DK Metcalf is the number 10. So you got 2 top 10 guys. You got Jefferson is the number 14 receiver, and Cortland Sutton is the number 26.
Yeah.
Four really good young receivers that you did not spend a first round pick on.
No, that's fortunate. That's that those guys have panned out as well as they have. yeah. I mean, DK Metcalf was somebody that I had seen and that I had wanted, and so he's definitely somebody I had targeted trying to get. But I'm sure I'm not alone in that. Cortland Sutton. I got him because he was like coming off an injury or something like that. There was some reason that he had fallen to where he was. I feel like, and then Jefferson I targeted for sure.
And this is kind of, I'll credit Rich as well. This was kind of the Lizards formula a few years ago. Michael Thomas was not a first round TFFL pick. Odell Beckham, injured in training camp, I think was a 5th round TFFL pick. Adam Thielen, when you had him in the mix, all
Mike Evans, where did Mike Evans go in?
Mike Evans was the only one who was a high first round pick. But anyway, well done with the receivers. I think we forget that Metcalf and Jefferson in particular, 2 studs, were recent 2nd round picks.
The Wheels had a couple like A+ drafts in a row.
Yep.
Needed to.
That's why they're at where they're at.
No.
Yep.
And Berto, you are the real outlier, and to credit to your GMing skills here, you're the one franchise that now sitting here at 5-1 that appears to have you kind of dipped, but never dipped all the way to the bottom. You're the outlier in that you never had a number 1 overall pick or a number 2 overall pick. I've obviously done my research for this webcast. Let me rattle off your draft status for the last 8 years. You had the number 5 overall pick in 2014, no first rounder in 2015, number 6 in 2016, number 11 in 2017, number 7 in 2018. 2019 was your only relatively high one, number 3 overall pick on Miles Sanders. Number 5 overall last year in 2020 and number 6 overall this year. And you're getting guys like Jamar Chase at 6 overall, Nick Chubb at 7 overall. Who else am I missing here? Who is your DeAndre Swift fell, a little bit last year to you at number 5.
Yeah, I got
gifted about what falls, huh?
Ralph took Mark Ingram right before I took Nick Chubb, and I couldn't run to the board fast enough to take Nick Chubb.
I remember when that happened. Yeah.
And then this year, the same thing. I couldn't get to the board fast enough to take Chase.
No.
But so that's great. But I also went, it's up and down, right? I also went through the Sean Greens and the Lawrence Maronis, and we've all had those picks that that you hate in the first round, or Corey Davis.
Yep.
But I got fortunate with a couple of those because it was gifted to me, a couple of those guys, and Swift too, even last year. So
thanks for pointing out you're not immune to the picks that you think are really great in the first round and don't end up so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly. And honestly, it's almost easier. Like and Rich said it before, I had to take Chase there, so I didn't even have to think about it, right? Which, so that, it is what it is. Versus, you had to make a choice at number 3, and you picked the wrong guy. When I picked Sean Green that year, I don't remember if Chief took. Westbrook. Was it Westbrook?
I don't know.
Wow, you have a good memory if it was.
You're going way back beyond
way back. But my point is,
Hank can't remember yesterday. I certainly can't remember 3 drafts ago.
It took me a minute to say Sean Green. Wait, who the hell is Sean? I got it. SHONN Green went to
LaShawn McCoy. That's what I was thinking of. He took LaShawn McCoy that year, and LaShawn McCoy became, something, and Sean Green did not.
LaShawn McCoy was taking a spot ahead of Sean Green, not a spot. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So there you go. But my point is, sometimes when you don't have to, like, Chubb was an easy one, Chase was an easy one, Swift was an easy one. So.
Yep. But all of this is a reminder to me, to Terry, to Nick, to anybody who ends up with a high draft pick this year, next year in 2022. That's not the only way to rebuild, and it's not a surefire way. You can go grab a Derrick Henry and a Saquon Barkley, and you still better go find some real value picks in the second, third round as well, and get your receivers that way.
Yep.
We'll have Terry on here next week talking about what the Mongols' rebuilding plans might look like.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's it for our roundtable chat tonight. Let's switch over to Rich if he's ready for us with our schedule for Week 7.
Yeah, absolutely. We have, I think, Hank crowned the Killers Lizards as the game of the week. Which, hey, look, you're choosing weeks. I mean, 5-1 team versus 4-1-1. Sure. I think that's good. I think that the buys hurt, the injuries hurt both teams. There's challenges, and right now Berto's favored, and rightfully so, because I got some issues, but we'll work through those and see what happens. But that's me and Berto going head to head. Looking forward to it, Berto. Let's have a fun week of jibber jabber. Good times. Maybe we'll
Come on, Lizards. Win it. Let's go, Lizards.
We could do a little Southeast Sundays.
There we go.
Right?
Yes.
Well,
what's that?
The headline in that game, do you mind me jumping in? Is
please, of course. No,
is your stud quarterbacks on a bye?
Both.
Yeah.
Is that, you mean both of our stud quarterbacks or just mine?
I was, Dak Prescott being gone for you is a big blow.
It's a big blow.
Right. But let's talk about that for a sec, because I specifically went after Mac Jones going up against the Jets this week. Right. So
could be brilliant.
We'll see how my theory was that, all right, the guy's going to have 6 weeks to get his, legs under him and figure shit out. I've watched him in person twice. He's had 2 great games against 2 very tough teams. Mm-hmm. Now he gets to go and play the Jets. Let's see what he got.
Yep.
Show me something.
Good move. All right.
Right.
Tell you what, he's accurate.
I tell you, you watch the guy in person.
Yeah.
Never mind just accurate. He is immensely poised.
Yeah.
That guy is like, you watch him and you see it in person, everything from what happens on the sideline to coming in to what happens when he comes off the field after a bad play. Like, I was watching him the whole time. I mean, Dak is still way up here and he's way down here, but he looks like a really good player.
He belongs.
He belongs.
Yeah.
He belongs. Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry, I cut you. Other games on tap this week?
Other games on tap. We got Senators headed to the Beavers. That looks like one that is maybe a gimme for the pro tempore. We will see, but we got Tagliavolia Tua in there, and
just say Tua.
Tua, yeah, I can't pronounce the last name, but Tua, I tried. Going up against Kyler Murray. That's an interesting one of 2 different tales of 2 different teams. So we'll see what happens there. Hormel Hams going up against the Mongols. Don't sleep on the Mongols. We'll see what happens. But no, the Mongols have no Josh Allen. So that really is going to hurt them this week, because they've counted on Allen, and Mahomes is playing this week. So, 2 teams that count a lot on their quarterbacks to do a lot of the work. One's got them, one doesn't. So you got to think the Hams look a little favored there. Boba Fett's going to visit the AmPack of Amsterdam, and or the Packers of Amsterdam. And the Fats are right now, they don't have their quarterback in yet. So I imagine Stafford will show up there instead of Herbert, but he's on a bye. And Ralph's got to contend by putting in Tannehill, who had a great game.
Did he? Did he have a great game?
I mean, he take the touchdowns, but did he have a good game? I thought he had a pretty good game.
Yeah, not bad.
Did I lose you guys?
No. Yeah, you lost us for a minute there. That's
Hello?
okay.
Did I lose you guys?
Yes.
We're
It's okay. You're back. We can hear you.
I'm sorry.
No Russell Wilson.
So I thought he had a pretty good game, Tannehill. No?
Not bad.
He didn't have a good game?
No, he didn't have
touchdowns, right?
Are we in a time warp of some sort?
We might be.
Actually, he only had 8. He had 8. Can you not hear
What do they call those things?
8. 8 is not
Can
a
you hear
great
me?
game.
He
8 is,
did have a good game.
is
No, it is not-
acceptable.
I thought he had a better game than he did. I guess when you're on the receiving end of just watching the stuff go down, it felt like he had a better game than he did. Nonetheless,
No.
we move on. So the Packers are going to be without Elliott, as you were just pointing out, without Cook. Those are two big pieces out. But Ralph has some, Gesicki in there and he's going up against New England. I'm sorry, he's going up against Atlanta, which may not be terribly hard from tight end position. So not a bad fill-in for the bye week for Gesicki.
I mean, hold on. So no Keenan Allen, no Adam Thielen, no Zeke, no Dalvin Cook,
No
Russell
Thielen.
Wilson hurt. I mean,
He's
let's
starting
go,
Devontae
guys.
Parker and Corey Davis at receivers and Gesicki at a running back position, and yet he's still favored by 13 over the Fats.
Yeah, but if
Right,
you
but the Fats don't have
Nothing in
their
their line yet.
quarterback in. The Fats don't have, they're missing 21 points from their quarterback.
Fats
right
will be
Once they
favored
put
when
Stafford in, they're favored. Yes.
Yeah.
Come on, Fats, knock
Let's
off
go,
the
Fats.
Packers. This is
Come
the
on,
week
by
they gotta
Webcast
lose.
time, you should have most of your team in there. No, come on.
This is the week.
This is the week the Packers should go down.
Yes.
I wish. I
Come
was
on,
playing this
Fats.
week. Damn. All right. So then we have the Devils and the Sponge, and the Sponge and the Devils.
Devils got to win or they're done.
The Devils, look, they got Lamar Jackson going up against Cincinnati, and I think they have them underscoring right now. They have
Versus Green Bay at Washington versus Aaron Rodgers in Washington. I like both of those quarterbacks very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, those are
Green
good.
Bay's going to put up some points this week. That
Mhm.
that could spell doom for the Devils.
Yeah, I think the Devils will be tough to stay.
Green Bay is playing at home, I think.
They are.
Yeah.
Robert Tunyon's due for a big break.
He is. Robert Tunyon game. Here it comes.
Yeah, the real danger in this game is actually Cooper Kupp showing up in Detroit with Matt Stafford throwing to him
Yeah,
in
that's a good
Detroit.
point.
That is going to be, I mean, if Kupp doesn't put up at least 2 touchdowns, I don't know,
Mhm.
I think it's a Robert Woods week.
The
Could be a
Sponge
Robert
could
Woods
light
week, you
it
know?
up this week. They got Higbee too. Right? And then finally, bringing it home, these two guys, the Wheels and the Aliens.
Mm.
It might be, I don't have this.
I just looked this and I gotta ask a question. When you look at it right now, Stick has a 9% chance of winning.
Right.
9. Now, is that because that you have no
That's
quarterback?
because Baker Mayfield's in there and he has a
There
0.
you go. All right. So you're
That
going to
doesn't
get
help.
a lot better than that.
A little bit better than that.
Wow, Stick, you have a lot
Get
of
it up to
challenges.
42.
You have a lot. Even your
Not 42, 24, I should say.
This was a bad week even before the quarterback issues.
I mean, even your better defense is on a bye. Jeez,
Yeah.
Jeez, God, damn, oh boy.
I think the 9% is generous.
I should win this week.
Yes.
So
Yes.
You might be able to go to sleep now and wake up next week and come to the webcast without ever watching.
Oh yeah. Well, I've
mean,
got some
what-
trading to do.
Stick and certainly nothing against you here. I'm just pointing out the fact that
Stick
I
has
haven't-
different goals, Rich. Stick has very different
It looks
goals at this
grim.
point of the season.
He's ready to tank.
Yes. I told Stick that his number one goal has to be getting a top 3 draft pick or, ideally 1. And
But I
Get
think he's
work.
on his way. I think he's on his way. At least for the time being. You never know. You never know. Things change.
yeah.
The
Crazy
Sudoku
things
could really
happen.
mess that up for me.
Hey,
This
would you
lineup does
believe
not look good.
this same Aliens team we are talking about put up 97 points
In
in
week
week
one.
1?
I know.
How did
97.
that happen?
Where's that team?
It's a lot of those guys. I mean, I just have nobody playing this week. In addition to the fact that my team isn't that great to begin with, but
Mhm.
no, a lot of those guys are on the bench. Amari Cooper's on the bench. Tony Pollard's on the bench. Trevor Lawrence. My Steelers defense is on the bench.
Mhm.
Anyway.
Are there more trades that are going to happen before this weekend, or is that?
Could happen.
If somebody ups the price tag on Rashad Penny enough, I think once we see that he's probably the starting running back in Seattle this week, and people are going to need a guy who's going to get touches.
I think you've got more than a fair offer probably for Penny already.
If it's
think so.
anything higher than a 6th, it's a fair offer.
See, that's my point. Thank you.
That seems a little high.
Might
Or
be.
the
It
offer
might
that
be
you have on your
anything
plate
higher
right
than
now.
like that's the top end of the market. I think if you could get a 7th, I'd take it.
I think you have a very good offer, probably in your inbox right now.
Could be in your inbox.
There is no collusion here, but it's interesting you brought up a 7th, Hank. That's actually the initial offer I had thrown out there to some teams.
Mhm.
That was before we knew that Alex Collins would be out this week. I think the price tag, has probably gone up to at least a 6th.
Yeah, probably so.
We'll see. We'll see. All right, let me give you guys a trivia answer.
I'm all over on this one. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let me wager a guess on this real quick. Over 9 years, let's say the number is 8.
All right, you and Berto the same.
Let me pick a new number. Let me pick 6, then I'll split the difference here.
All right.
5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, let's open up.
I'm on the low, Hank. I'm on the
you're
low.
the low.
Berto's on the high.
Berto's on the high. Yeah, Berto's on the high.
I have a hunch it's going to be higher or lower than that range.
It could be like 12.
Prior to the 20, let me make sure.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. Let me read his answer, and we might have to reread the question. Prior to the 2021 draft, there have been 5 trades between Michael and Berkman. So, Chief explains, you get 3 points if you nailed it at 5.
Berkman.
2 points if you guessed 4 or 6. That's me.
You.
Kind of cheated on that. And 1 point if you guessed 3 or 7.
I get 1.
Boo.
Who's keeping score?
I've been keeping score here, so let me add.
I got 0 on that.
I was total feeling the love. You was talking. I was just, you know what? I'm gonna write down 5.
All right, so that brings us to Hank still in the lead. With
I thought I might have taken him. Damn.
Hank with 12. Stick with 11.
Ooh, close.
Bork with 9 now. And Berto in last with 8.
Okay.
Still
It's
fairly
close.
tight.
It's tight.
Yeah,
So
I
I need
think
to hold on to that.
I think I had gotten 0s on the last 2 weeks, which really hurt. But coming back with the 5 and nailing it,
Hey, you nailed it.
Certainly
Nailed
helps. We'll take it.
All right, so that does it for this week. We're coming in just under an hour. All 3 of you guys, keep it up. You've been doing great. Good luck to all the teams out there, except again for the Mongols. Hope you are still winless, so we can maintain the agenda I've got when Terry joins us next week. I'll have to figure out.
The Mongols win this week. Make Stick get back to work and let's have a new agenda. Come on, Mongols.
Let's
Get through this zero.
Good luck, man.
Alien's not only working on trades, but do need to figure out a starting quarterback for this week. Hams need to figure out a kicker, and probably a fair amount of franchises maybe talking trade. And Rich, you're going to have a busy free agent cycle, I think, tomorrow for the Thursday night game, and certainly on Saturday this week.
Yep, I will keep my eye out for any free agent priority picks issued for tomorrow and as well as for Saturday. All good.
All right. Good luck to everybody in week 7. And we'll see you back here a week from today talking about week 7, looking ahead to week 8 already. Good luck and take care.
Thank you. Take care.
Cheers, everyone.